Blog Talk Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Yes.
Have you ever dreamed of going to exotic places, meeting fascinating people, enjoying uplifting music, and spending nights in a luxurious hotel? Do you look forward to a relaxing vacation where you can walk along the beach or sit in a quiet park and enjoy the sunset or sunrise? Whether you're flying around the world or driving across the country, we will share travel tips that will help you stay safe while you enjoy the journey. Join me every third Saturday of the month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and move around with Deborah here on the Female Solution Show. Call in and comment 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak.
Yes. So we are here. We're joined a little bit later with our own co-host, Naima Latif, who is actually the executive director of the Female Solution. And again, today you're watching me move around with Deborah as we journey to understanding and to some becoming familiar with cruising. So my question to you is, are you ready to cruise? A question to me, yes, I am. Cruising can bring so much for you in one vacation. You pack and unpack one time, yet you can cruise, oh my goodness, anywhere from 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 365 days, yes. I tell you, when you're cruising, you have your lodging, meals, entertainment, sports activities, and much more without paying for everything a la carte, which can truly add up. It can also take you to different countries. I always like to say I can shop in different countries on one trip. So today we're going to share some valuable insights as we travel the world cruising. And so we're talking about it today. If you have anything you want to share, please do so by calling 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. Again, you can call 515-605-9325 and share your experience in the fabulous world of cruising. Now, let's see if we have our host. She's not ready just yet. So we will just hold on a moment. I'm still figuring this thing out, you all. Please forgive me. I am not quite focused on technology. But again, please bear with me. Now, I could tell you about cruising. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. You know, cruising is something that I was not really in tune to at first. But I got so much to tell you about cruising. But, of course, before we get started, as always, I want to do and share with you some important news about airports. I feel as though the airport is your first destination. Do you feel the same way? Your airport being your first destination? I do, because airports nowadays, they're just not places where you go and get on an airplane. There's so much more. They're entertainment centers. They're museums. They have so much in activities, and you've got to be there for a while, so you might as well take advantage of the areas that you're in. In our upcoming shows, we're going to start opening up new opportunities, new avenues in which you can do this, that, or the other. One of the things we're going to have is our book club. Maybe some folks say book of the month, the book of the year. I don't know. It's every book as you can get it in. That's how I feel. Every book as you can make it happen. But today's update that I wanted to share with you is about one of the airlines. And each airline makes changes on a regular basis. So if you're partial to a particular airline, if you have frequent flyer miles, make sure you are keeping up with them, and the rules have not changed for what they offer or not offer. But for Southwest, they're actually, I saw a protest. Southwest, they're actually looking to update their contract, which so many folks are nowadays. And my support is definitely with them. Southwest Airlines is one of my favorite. Yes, I am particularly partial to Southwest. Not only do you don't have to pay extra for those extra bags, because always when we travel, what do? We want to buy something there, and we have to buy extra luggage to bring home. Well, I've got a trick to talk to you about that, but you'll have to come back in another segment. We're here every third Saturday and learn a little bit more about packing. Yes, that is a big informational setting that we'll have to do. But with Southwest, they've changed and they've added some new things about their fares. Did you know, excuse me, oh, now, of course, now that I'm talking, there's a lot going on. But there are a couple of changes that we have in Southwest where you can change your time. Say you get to the airport 2 hours early, as you should, and there's a flight available. You know, you're sitting around, you checking in, and you ask, is there a flight earlier available? And they say yes. And if there's space available, did you know you can get on that flight without any add-ons to your fees? Yes. But you have to get and book. You have to have it booked the Wanna Get Away Plus feature. You know, they have the Wanna Get Away. That's the bare minimum. That's their base rate. Then they have the Wanna Get Away Plus, which you have, of course, non-transferable, transferable credit if you cancel. You can't get flight credit if you cancel. Now you can transfer your flight credit to other people. At one time, you couldn't transfer your flight credit. Did you know that? Same day confirmed change. That's either earlier or if you're running a little behind, as we sometimes do, and there is space available to get you on a later flight. There has to be space available. Then that change can be made. Now, understand that you may have a nonstop flight that you're trying to catch your basic flight, and the change flight may have a layover. So you have to be made aware of that. But understand that that is an option that is available. Then they have the no change fees where you can get a refundable. You can have early check-in, priority express lanes, rapid rewards points per every qualifying dollar. And then they have the business select. Of course, that's refundable, priority boarding, complimentary premium drink on flights that are over 176 miles, a free in-flight internet, more rewards points, and all of the benefits as far as transferring and free day change. That's all included in the business class. Another thing I like about Southwest, depending on what time or what slot you board, you can sit anywhere. You're not structured. You're not buying a seat like on some airlines. You have to pay a little extra to pick your seat that you want. And if you don't, you get to the gate and you start boarding, you get whatever's left over. You know, it's really, really, really strange, some of these airlines. And I was speaking to someone who was on one of those bare minimum airlines, and they traveled from Arizona to Mexico by way of Kansas and Ohio. And they had like 11-hour or 5-hour layover in between. It was like, wow. And once they paid for the luggage, to get on, the drink, and, you know, it just added up. So do your due diligence, of course, with that. And I believe that Southwest, and in my opinion, has the best customer service, even though I know you probably have challenge. But even still, I think Southwest has one of the better customer care situations. And I've been in some situations, and they've been right there even without me asking. They are attentive. They even I was in one situation where the stewardess was waiting on another flight, seeing I was in distress going to even another flight, and they helped me. I was like, oh, my God, thank you so very much. I surely appreciate that. Okay, so now let's talk more about airports. Pardon?
They want to let people know where they can see you on Facebook.
Oh, I don't know. On Move Around with Deborah.
Is that the business? Is that the Facebook page name?
Yes.
Move Around with Deborah. Okay. We want to make sure we had.
Okay.
Move Around with Deborah. Also, we'll share that on the Facebook.
And Deborah Smith. It should be there as well.
Looking for it.
Okay. Good deal. Help me out. Thank you so very much. You know.
And of course, if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call 515-605-9325 and press 1 so that we know you have something to say and we can open you.
Please do. Please do, because that's the only way that we're going to have this two-way conversation. It's going to be back and forth. So now we use our phones for so many things. And I believe that apps, and this one app that I'm referring to right now, MyTSA, it's MyTSA. Whenever you're traveling, I think these apps, MyTSA, the airlines that you're flying on, the cruise line that you're traveling on, the hotel, your insurance policy that you've purchased, and I certainly hope you've got an insurance policy, and all of the policies, the major policies, I believe, have apps where you can follow through. If you have a problem, just go to your phone and hit for the emergency service right there. Also, weather. You know, we're drawn to understand that this weather situation, all across the world, all around the world and across the country. So there is a weather app, and that weather app is, let me see here. I have it up. Okay, that's the one. It is, whatever, the Weather Channel. Yes, the Weather Channel. They have an app that you can tap into. I believe even most phone services provide where you can add on where you're going to and what city and the weather is going to be. Because right now, as our weather is changing and is so extreme, it is very important that you know and familiarize yourself with your destination as to what's going on in the forecast. You know, many times we're so busy with our day-to-day, we don't pay attention to the news. You know, some people just do not look at the news. So they don't know that there are situations going on unless someone brings it to them. And we hear about catastrophic situations. Maui, I know everyone has heard, and our prayers and whatnot are with those that was just devastating. We've heard about the smoke from Canada, but we have not heard about the fires that are still burning in Canada, and they're moving now into populated areas. And did you know that there are fires that are going on in many states in the United States right now? Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, California. There was one in New Jersey not too long ago. I'm talking about brush fires, unfamiliar. Even in Illinois, there was a fire not too long ago. And now that we're in hurricane season, there's strong storms that are scheduled to make landfall, especially this one, Hillary. You know, they I don't know where they get these names from, but they decided that this one is Hillary. And Hillary is going to make landfall in the popular resort area of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and travel as far north into Nevada by Las Vegas. And in the rains, the water that this storm is going to bring to the deserts of California, Arizona, Nevada, it is going to definitely be catastrophic. So because they're not going to be used to these areas are not used to all of this water, especially at one time. It is like, I heard an analogy, it's like you pouring a tub of water on a wood floor and it doesn't have anything to absorb it. There's going to be a lot of flooding. So if you have family and loved ones in those areas, please make sure that they have an escape plan. You know, we're looking at so many homes falling off into the water because the soil under them is weak. And, you know, they just don't have that structure. So it is amazing what we are experiencing. And we here in the Midwest, we don't look at the news. We don't turn on the channel, the radio, or we don't hear anything. We don't know. We have no idea the devastation. So I wanted to share that with you because as you travel, it's very important for you to know what's going on in the areas. It's very important for you to keep up, and that's why you have those apps for your hotel, your cruise line, the airports, and other, your insurance agency.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Since you mentioned insurance, and this is a discussion that I had on another show a while back, sometimes when people get warning of severe weather, and even the recommendation is made to evacuate, where do you go if you don't have any place to go? And is there an assumption that you can just drive away? What if you don't have a car? What if you have somebody who is disabled and can't travel? You know, a lot of these, like you say, the severe weather things happening. Of course, everybody's devastated about what's happening in Maui with the fires and all of that. But does insurance cover, or do people need to make sure their insurance covers things like emergency evacuation? Is there insurance for emergency evacuation? Often I wonder when things happen, people say, well, people were told, I mean, the weather forecast said there was going to be a hurricane, the weather forecast said there was going to be a tornado. Why did they stay? Why did they leave? The weather forecast said it was going to be flooding. And my question is, well, what if they couldn't go? What provisions are made if the weather forecast gives you warnings to leave if you can't go? What alternatives do people have? Should everybody have an emergency evacuation plan or some relatives they can go to? How do you handle that?
Well, you asked a few questions here. And the first thing is the insurance. Emergency evacuation insurance is different as to what someone stands. If there's a storm coming, will they evacuate me? That does not necessarily hold true with emergency evacuation. Emergency evacuation for some insurance policies, and you have to read your policy very clearly and understand it. It's in case you get sick and you have to get back home, and your travel associate has to go with you. That's emergency evacuation or emergency travel, getting back. As far as evacuation, you have to be aware of what's going on, what your resources are. If you're in another country, where's the consulate? Do you have that phone number? Do you have the phone number for your insurance company? Because your insurance company may be able to tell you, and they have 24 hours. Well, they should have 24-hour service, and they should be worldwide. So the contact from wherever you are should be there available. The resources from the places where you are staying, your resort, they should have some type of information to provide that to you. And this may be, I don't want to sound harsh but your common sense needs to kick in too. You have to know, okay, this storm is coming. I give you a good example, and I think I've mentioned this before. I was in New Orleans a week before Katrina hit. Katrina sat out in that water for a long time before it moved inland. And we were fortunate enough to already have been scheduled to travel away from there. So we were getting out of there. But we were asking the people, the helpers in the hotel, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay? Will you be getting your family out? And that discussion was there, but people just did not believe, and they did not move. So it's you just have to know, and this is why you have those weather reports. Do you know that in the Weather Channel, I already know that there are hurricanes building in the Atlantic Ocean, and it tells you the dates that they're scheduled to be landfall. They tell you the areas that they're going to be in. Even with Hillary, we've been knowing about Hillary. It's not new because these storms, they don't just materialize. They come. Now, a tornado, it materializes. You have to know which way to go. In Florida, if you travel in Florida, in most of the coastal cities and states, they have signs on the road, evacuation route. So that tells you that this route is good to get out. But you have to be aware of your circumstances. And sometimes you can prepare yourself, and sometimes it just comes up on you. You're not going to be able to prepare. Just like in Maui, they say, well, how come we didn't have the warning signals? Well, they said the warning signals were structured. They taught people when you hear these warning signs, that means there's a tsunami coming. So go up in the mountains, turned on those sirens, and the people had started to flocking up into the mountains. They would have flocked right into the fire. Yeah. So they had to make a decision. Do we not? And this fire was so fast moving. And it's just devastating. It's just devastating. And you have to be aware because in some situations, your travel insurance policies do not cover if there's a situation of nature.
So, what they call an act of God or whatever?
Yes.
Are those things that are not covered by insurance or are covered by insurance?
A lot of times they're not. It depends on the verbiage of the policy that you purchase and the company. You have to understand the policy, and it'll tell you in there acts of God may or may not be covered, but in some cases if you need a credit. If you have not reached this location and you need a credit, some of them will give you a credit. Some of the properties will give you a credit. Here's an example for cruising. I believe it was Royal Caribbean make stops in Maui. Of course, they're not going to make the stop in Maui. So the people who were cruising were scheduled to go to the cruise and stay in Maui. They were kind of upset because they weren't going to go to Maui, you know, because they could not go to Maui. But now Royal Caribbean has said, okay, if you want a full credit, we'll give you a full credit. If you want to still go on the cruise and we're going to bypass that, we're going to put in a couple of other stops instead. If that's okay for you, we'll give you some extra credits, on board credits. So now you have that choice. So that's what they did outside of insurance. But they didn't have to do that. But that's a customer care situation that they put in place. So
that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Yes, that's something that people should make sure they look for.
You have to pay attention, and again, that's why you kind of rely on a travel advisor, because you and I, or you and other people, your focus is on what your 9 to 5 is, or what your daily work is, and it's not focused on travel. Travel is not picking up, packing up, and going. It's not that easy. Right. You need a travel advisor who can advise you these different things, and you could go on your journey and relax. Who wants to be worried about this, that, or the other? And carry a flashlight, carry matches, carry the battery pack for your electronics. Pack your clothes in Ziploc bags. So if they do, your suitcase does get in water, they're in bags, they're in waterproof bags.
Now that's the thing that people should think about, especially if you have things that would be absolutely destroyed if they get wet.
Yes. I never will forget, I was getting off a cruise ship, and they were, the ship, there's still a space in between the ship and the actual dock. So there's some water down there. And they were tossing the luggage, off the ship, and that person's luggage went right down in that water.
Oh.
And when I saw that was many years ago. I saw that, and I've been packing.
Using plastic ever since.
Ever since. And now people have created the packing cubes. Get those packing cubes, but if they're not waterproof, and you can get waterproof luggage now, it's a little costly, but they do have it.
Yeah.
But protect yourself.
It's worth it if you think that whatever you're packing has value and you don't want to lose it. So it's better to pay a bit extra to have your things protected than be regretful that all your valuables have been destroyed.
Yes. We're going to go to our commercial break, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit of one thing about packing and worried about something that's valuable. If you're concerned about losing it or not, don't take it with you.
Now, that's good advice. Don't take it with you. And I've always thought of, every time I go on a trip, I tend to overpack. And I've learned to stop taking things that I really don't need or that I'm probably not going to use. And, like the books, I say, I'll read this book while I'm traveling. You won't.
You will.
So, don't take 5 books. You think, I'll get around it. No, you won't.
Not 5.
Then somebody end up leaving where you're at, and then you're upset.
Right. Right.
Anyway, I know we've got to take this break.
Yes, but and then we're going to come back and talk about the cruising for sure. Hold on, we'll be back.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution. We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Global Radio TV Show. We are a part of the online network of Associated Internet radio hosts, On Air. On Air empowers you with transformative news and interactive radio TV shows. This is such a wonderful time to be alive and to see our human family coming together as one community as a result of that powerful tool, the Internet. We can now talk directly to each other all over the world. There's no need for conflict or misunderstanding. There's no need for violence to solve our differences. We can talk to each other face to face until we reach an agreement. On Air offers a fantastic global guide to communicators from all over the world who are using their Internet platforms to inspire us to strive to be our best selves in order to become the kind, compassionate, loving people we were all born to be. Once we do that, we'll see planet Earth transformed into a place of peace. Subscribe to the recommended YouTube channels, Facebook pages, and podcasts created by these Voices of Enlightenment. On Air provides daily news briefs and a weekly magazine to keep you abreast of events and opportunities. On Air news affiliates in television, radio, and print share information, insight, and interviews with notable personalities. Go to onaireverywhere.com for a daily dose of uplifting news. We're on air everywhere, online all the time.
to cruise. Yes, yes, yes. You know, my apologies to our listeners who have been on hold waiting. If you would like to join the conversation, please press 1 and let me know you'd like to speak. Our number here is 515-605-9325. That's 605-9325. And thank you again for joining us here with Move Around with Deborah as we talk about cruising. Yes, I don't know if you have or not cruise, but understand what cruising is. The action of sailing about in an area without necessarily a precise destination, but you're doing it, of course, for pleasure. Now, we'll have continued segments on each of our broadcasts of Move Around with Deborah, because this is one of my favorite ways to travel the world. And I will repeat to you the motto: you haven't lived until you cruise. Now, I know there are a lot of apprehension about with some folks about cruising, but have you ever tried something unfamiliar? Yeah. Anything new was once unfamiliar. So let me help you see my point of view. Yes, it is a lot of water. Yes, we understand you don't care for the water. You're not comfortable. You'll think it'll be like that show in Gilligan's Island where you went out on a 3-hour tour and it took you, I don't know how many seasons to get back home. But, you know, do you fly? Do you drive? Are you capable of walking or moving on your own accord to those levels? No. So let me hold it right there. I have a guest who has raised their hand. Thank you very much. So I am going to bring you into the conversation. Area code 872-731. Your mic is open. Would you please identify yourself? Tell us where you're calling from. If you cruise, go ahead. Hello.
My name is Rashida Ali. I'm calling from Chicago. I just wanted to. Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. I hope all is well with you and you're ready to cruise.
Yes, I am. You know, I was just thinking about, you're talking about the various insurances that we need because of the fatalities that are happening. So I decided to just, think about it deeply, and then I came up in my mind about the mass destructions that man has made from God's creation, especially now what they're doing with precipitation and all of that, with the airwaves, making clouds and making their brush fires because of mankind's negligence and destruction. So the insurances are needed because, in my mind and from my observation and findings, it's man who's doing the destructions and the destroying. And I think it's a process of elimination, of genocide approach, because man creates clouds now for precipitation, to make it rain, and man negligence have created brush fires and all of these disasters. So most of these disasters.
Man is not making it rain. That's an act of God. But the brush fires.
No. Excuse me, ma'am. Man does make it rain. man-made clouds. And they've been doing it. If you do research, you'll find out the man-made clouds, the clouds that we see in the sky. And then from the precipitation, it makes it rain. Man is doing that.
So they were making it rain back in the day, way back before we had technology?
Maybe. I don't know about way back, but I know about right now. And currently, way back, I have to do some more research to find out where they did it way back.
So how does that
relate
to the cruising and the hurricanes? Are you saying that in traveling, this is one of the faults? How do we avoid that in traveling?
I'm saying that if you watch some educational read, some scientific writings, you'll find out that man actually creates precipitation and are doing it and been doing it for decades to make it rain. They're doing that. And there are certain gases in the air, and you can even Google it if you want to find out more, but it's happening.
Well, when there's drought, in the places that there's drought, why aren't they creating rain to help the people in the drought-stricken areas?
I don't know why. Are they not, or have they not? But I know what they are. I don't know. But I may have to do some more intensive research to find out have they or why have they not done certain things. But I'm only interested right now is what they are doing and how they do it. When have they done it?
And have you traveled and experienced adverse weather while you traveled? And what did you do when you got involved with that?
Yes, I have traveled and saw the adverse and effects of traveling when it comes to the weather. But that's not the issue that I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on man.
That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how travel and weather and how we can experience our travel journeys and still understand the catastrophic weather that sometimes comes into play, and how do we survive that. That's what
okay, because I didn't know that was only that you were talking about. I heard you say, I came in when you were talking about the brush fires and insurances. And I was just asking if people know that a lot of these things are created by man. Yes, we do have insurances, but I didn't know you were just talking about travel, because I apologize, I didn't hear that part. But there's a fact about man's creation of the clouds, the brush fires, and all of that. Insurances are good, but I apologize sincerely, because I know that was what only you talked about, travel.
Yes. But we want, now, have you ever cruised before, Rashida?
Not long term, just on my family boat. I haven't gone. I just do the water canals here in Chicago.
Okay. Yes, there's many. I was saying, as my research was, you can be in a little canoe that only holds 1 to 2 people. You know, we used to see the folks out there fishing in those little 1 to 2 passenger boats, and that sometimes they don't fish. They're just out there cruising, relaxing in the water, because that is a relaxing mode. And the ships go all the way up to ocean lines. And cruising has been in effect for years. That was the only way to travel from one country to another, was by cruising. So I look forward to maybe you coming back and talking with us about cruising, or even if you cruise the little local lake And you say it was a long time ago. Do you have a desire to cruise again?
As I say, I have never taken a long cruise. Only on my family boat. They want to go through the canals here in Chicago. But my mother, she said she still swims. My mother does, and she told me that water is the best therapy. But I don't swim, and so I don't think I would feel comfortable with a lot of water, for a long time because of that disability. I don't swim. My mother does.
Well, you don't have to swim when you get on a ship or a boat. It's good to
but
know.
The beach around all that water. I'm not afraid of water, but like I said, my interest is not traveling on a boat with water because I don't swim. So, but that sounds nice for those who like that. But I don't like water. I've flown on airplane and only through the water channels. And here in Chicago have I ever been on a boat like that. Not me.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on and speaking with us and sharing those facts about how man can make water. I'm going to have to research.
It's interesting how they do the precipitation and create the gases and make it rain and stuff.
Well, thank you again so very much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and you have a wonderful time. Continue to listen as we continue on, and maybe there's something that you'd want to share in as we continue our talk about cruising. Yes, that cruising. I tell you, I am so excited. Some folks rather fly to their destinations, like to resorts. You want to go to Jamaica? Let me just fly over to the resort. But you can visit Jamaica and other stops along the way as you cruise. Let me just share with you some of the advantages as opposed to just going to one spot. Even though all the inclusiveness to it, you can afford a cruise vacation. A cruise experience offers you, the traveler, the opportunity to sail in many different ways. They offer flexibility at pricing. It offers flexibility, of course, in how you pay for it, the budgeting. You can go from a weekend getaway with your friends to a week in the Mediterranean. A lot of folks are doing family reunions on cruise ships because when compared to a land vacation, cruises can offer many price advantages. And many cruise lines include dining, entertainment, onboard activities, and all in the base fare. And if you're looking for an affordable alternative to a typical land vacation, I want to share with you. I don't know if you won't be able to see the chart, but of the room and in accommodations, of course, in a cruise, it's included. The land vacation, that's a cost. Transportation from one port to another, Jamaica, Ocho Rios, Costa Maya, all these ports, they're included. So you're not flying from one space to another, one country to another. It's all included. Ground transfers, in some cases, can be included. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, midnight desserts, some sports activities, entertainment, nightclub shows, They do a fabulous karaoke. Each cruise line has karaoke, art exhibits. It's a museum in itself. And when we say meals, there's different specialty meals. There are some ships that offer to teach you how to prepare certain meals. But if you do that on a land cruise, everything is separate. Even if, like, for example, the family reunion or a business retreat, we all know that you have to pay for the get the people to the place, the hotels. Then you have to secure a banquet facility or a meeting facility. Then you have to hire someone in to do the entertainment. That adds up, where you could take that business meeting or that family reunion on a cruise, and everything is already there. It is already there. Do some comparative shopping. Talk to your travel advisor about the differences. They'll be glad to help you. And there are other savings through beverage packages, dining packages, other onboard savings. There are onboard credits. If you want a specialty event going on, you could have your own little room, a party room that you could do that, a meeting room. When you have meetings, you got to pay extra for the audio visual. It's included on the cruise ship. It's a win-win, especially for you business attendees who are now looking to add in a business event. Here is your opportunity. You can cruise on water vessels as small, as I stated before, as a canoe with one or two people, or a ship that is the newest, largest cruise ship. Now, there are other levels of ships. The largest cruise ship as of January 2022 is Royal Caribbean's Wonders of the Sea. It has a gross tonnage of 236,857 pounds. It is 1,188 feet long and 210 feet wide. It holds up to 6,988 passengers, and that does not include the staff. Again, Wonder of the Seas is the latest ship of Royal Caribbean's Oasis class of cruise ships, largest in the service. Once you start studying about cruise ships and cruise liners, there is so much to cover. Now, I don't want to get the terminology wrong, and I don't want you to get it wrong when you start talking about passenger sailing vessels. There are boats, there are river boats, there are yachts, there are cruise ships, there are ocean liners, and I'm sure I'm missing something. But these are all for passengers. So you want to make yourself aware. Again, I know some folks, like Rashida stated, she does not want to cruise because she does not swim. Well, when I come back, we're going to talk about that fear, and hopefully we can squash that anxiety that some folks may have when we talk about cruising. So let's go to our commercials. We've got a couple of commercials. I just want to share with you some of the things that go on here with the Female Solution each and every day. Each and every day. And we hope that you listen to these programs where we help to bring you wisdom, truth, love, and understanding. Let's have this conversation. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, it's time to take charge of your health. I'm Viata, your holistic life coach, and every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I'm here on The Female Solution to empower you to make choices that will assist your evolution to abundant health. I'm also blogging every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at Soul Purpose Healing, where I bring you a spiritual chiropractic adjustment to bring you back into alignment with our Creator's love, compassion, and wisdom. Join me every Friday morning at 8 a.m. and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. for a time of unity, enlightenment, and love vibration. Shalom.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of our cells, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Susan Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Susan. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Yes, I love it. We can sit back and cruise and groove. We can party. We can stay in our cabins and sit out on our balcony and just enjoy it. Welcome back, everyone, to Move Around with Deborah as we talk about cruising. Yes, so cruising the byways of the waterways around the world is my kind of travel. Please join in the conversation. Call 1-515-605-9325. That's 515-605-9325. Press 1 so we can talk, and please share. And once you get connected to the Facebook groups, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell once I get on YouTube. I'm going to figure this technology out step by step. But, yeah, call in. I know you. I see you out there listening. And your whole online, just hit 1 to speak, to share the opportunities that you had in cruising. Have you cruised? What do you like about cruising? So we were talking before we left about apprehension of a person cruising because they don't know how to swim. Well, you know what? You don't have to know how to swim. I mean, like I said, you get on a plane and you fly. You don't know how to fly. If you're worried about that plane coming out the sky, what are you going to do? You got to live. You got to live life. And while you are in this world, live life. Live it to the fullest. Be adventurous. These things, even if you just do it one time. And when you're on a cruise ship, it's not like being on a little family boat or even a boat with a smaller capacity, say a cruise, a boat that you would get on in your city. I'm in the Chicago area. Lake Michigan has the entertainment boats off of Navy Pier. Nothing compared to what getting on a cruise ship can conquer. And when you get on a cruise ship, of course, before you actually leave out of port, there are some things that you have to go through, some safety you have to be taught. And you have to be constructed to understand these safety tips. There are the safety vests. They give you training, just like when you're on a plane. You know how before you actually take off, they're giving you instructions on the breathing, what you do, the life vests that are up under your seat. Well, in your cabin, and they're not called rooms on cruise ships, they're called cabins, and they're not called boats, they're called cruises. And some of that other terminology. But they have those. They have them in other places of the ship. Become familiar with the safety patterns. Of course, they also have those boats on the side of the ship. That if something happens on the ship, and they're going down, you get in a lifeboat. Okay, there's 6,000 people on this one boat. How is everybody? This is not like Titanic. Only certain people are able to get on them. No, there are lifeboats full for the capacity of the customers and staff on that boat. They can hold you. They make them large enough to and deep enough. You're going to be in there tight, but you can be taken to safety. So I just want to squash some of the apprehension for that some people may have. Also, you say, well, is this boat going to be rocking and shaking and doing all of that? So many folks who had that challenge before they got on their first cruise found that once they got on, they did not feel that. They did not feel the movement. There are some that did feel it, they might have been caught in some adverse weather. And yes, cruise ships, these storms come up. But if there's a known storm coming like Hillary, they've already canceled all those cruises. They've already made concessions. Those resorts, they've already made, gotten people out of the area. And then you yourself are getting away. They've got places in store. They've already got things already set up. So it's again, if you have any questions or concerns about what I'm saying, please chime in so we can talk about it. I don't want you to not cruise because you were uninformed or unaware. It is a lot, and I understand that. And that's why you have us as travel advisors. And if you ever have any questions or concerns for travel or have topics, make sure you reach out to me. You can email me at Deborah, DeborahTheFemaleSolution@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. Call in and press 1. But I want to go more on the different ships. Now, there are many waters you can cruise from in the world. And right here in the United States, there are over 20 cruise ports. So just imagine, you might have heard about a few situations with a cruise, but every day, ships to the capacity of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 are leaving a port in the United States every day. So comparatively speaking, you're not getting a lot of tragedies and trauma when you talk about cruising. It's one of the safest ways to travel. Even right here in the middle of the United States. Now you say, where can we cruise from in the middle of the United States? Riverboat cruising. Yes, riverboat cruising right here on American Cruise Lines. American Cruise Lines are River Cruise Line. It's a River Cruise Line ship that operates only in America. Hence the song, the name American Cruise Line. Now, the other cruises like the Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian Cruise Line, and there are so many that I'm not even remembering right now that are right here in the United States. And just to name a few of the places that you can cruise from: Portland, Maine; Manhattan, New York; New Jersey; Baltimore; Norfolk, Virginia; Charleston, South Carolina; Jacksonville, Florida. Florida has, 6 ports in Florida, in the state of Florida alone. Jacksonville, Port Canaveral, which is outside of Orlando; Palm Beach; Fort Lauderdale; Miami; Tampa; New Orleans. No, well, I forgot Mobile, Alabama. Let's not skip Mobile. Yes, we all know about the cruising. Well, most of us know and have heard about the cruising from Mobile, Alabama recently. New Orleans. Oh, my goodness. When I cruised out of New Orleans, I didn't realize, and we look at New Orleans at the bottom of the country, but the landmass, it went on as we cruised south towards Mexico. There was land for about a couple of hours. And I'm like, my goodness, I did not realize how many people, how much in the population, how much land was south of New Orleans. So join me next year as we cruise out of New Orleans in August next year, 2024, and you could experience that yourself. And then there's cruise ships out of Galveston, Texas. In Galveston, Texas, they have a brand new port. I can't wait to see that one. Then over into San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Alaska, Anchorage, Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, Harna, Glacier Bay. All of these have ports. Then, of course, in Hawaii on the Big Island, they've got two ports on the Big Island. And then Maui, of course, again, our prayers. Oahu has a port, and Kuna has a port. So these are just for the United States. Of course, we know about international travel, the riverboat travels, the cruise line travels, thin liner travels, yes, the ocean liners. Now, ocean liners are larger. They are not as, they're sturdier because, you know, we all learned a good value with the Titanic. So they make them sturdier. They are able to navigate through the storms a little better than some of the other ships because they're coming across the waters. It's you know, they have a lot that they have to go through. Let me just get my bearings here on river cruises. They've got cruises for Viking riverboats from Miami. Oh, they even have a riverboat out of Miami. You know, one of the cruise ships that I neglected to tell you about that I am excited. You know, the children are going back to school. So the summertime caretakers of children, I say that because maybe a lot of them are grandparents and aunties and whatnot, and we are of the households where the children are no longer major residents. So now in September, October, now is the time for us to get out and cruise. Yes. Of course, we know about Carnival, and that being the party cruise ship. Carnival started out back in 1972, in March of 72. It was a funny story. Carnival, their first cruise, they had a problem and they couldn't get out. They couldn't sail because they had a technical problem and they couldn't sail. And it was named the Mardi Gras ship. How ironic that their newest ship is also named the Mardi Gras, a brand new ship, much larger. But they did so much partying on that ship to keep the entertainment going because the people were getting antagonized because they couldn't leave. You know, the ship wasn't able to sail out. So they just kept entertaining the folks and kept throwing a big party. So, the Jubilee. Did you know that there are some cruise ships where they have go-karts on them? Yes. It is amazing. But there is one ship that is adult only. Now, we love our children, but sometimes we just want to, And we're talking about Virgin Cruise Line. Virgin Voyages, actually. And they are adult only, which means 18 years old and up. Now, if you have children at 18 years old and they're traveling with you, this is an adult only cruise ship. And they have fun. And it is a specialty because it is adult only. Now, parents or grandparents, aunties, caretakers of children in the summer, and they're gone back to their prospective homes when school begins, and they're no longer in your home. Now you can travel. Try cruising or try going somewhere else just to relax. You can cruise almost anywhere in the world. But they are also on these cruise lines. if you have children and you still want to cruise during those times or during any time of the year, you can cruise pretty much any time of any year. You can utilize the services of children's activities on these cruise ships. So take your children with it. You know, cruising, travel is one of the most educational opportunities there are. And I always wondered when I went on a cruise ship, I had all these children on this ship. And I know the school is in session. What do? But there's opportunities. You're going to be gone, a weekend, a couple of days, a week. Take your children on a cruise. They have topics, items that they can do away from outside of what you do as a family. They have their own service, their own activities, and they will enjoy it so much. So take that opportunity to cruising with your children. It is a must. So let me check and see. I'm going back and forth from one screen to another to talk about, just to see if we got any of the persons that are in our studio. If you're here, you're online, and you want to speak, please press 1 so I can see you watching and make sure that we get your opinion about cruising. Now, excuse me, not only do we have cruising adults, did you know as an adult, we have a lot of adults traveling alone, when I say alone, just couples or something, on Disney cruise lines? Yes. There are a lot of parents, I guess, who missed the point, I don't know, when they were traveling before. But now they're traveling on Disney. And as far as cruise line rankings, and this is just an excerpt from the U.S. News report, where they took some surveys, the blind, for the money, the value. And we talked about the value, especially compared to land cruises and cruising. The Virgin Voyages is the best cruise. That's the one that's single, not singles, no, not just singles, but adults only. And then Carnival. So Virgins, for the value, they say Virgin Voyages is better than even Carnival, even though Carnival to me is more affordable, but with Virgin you get more opportunity. And then Celebrity. The best cruise lines for a family would be, of course, Disney. Then it says Royal Caribbean, but I think Carnival, and then Royal Caribbean. The best cruise lines for couples, which are talking about the more mature couple, would be Viking Ocean Cruises, Seabourn Cruises, and Asmara Cruises. Yes. Did you know that Disney cruise, you can do a Disney cruise combined with a Disneyland? So you could do like a 3 or 4 day cruise and do a 3 or 4 day land at the park out in Orlando. Did you know that? No, that's why I'm here to share that with you. It says the best cruise lines in the Caribbean. And again, this is from the readers of the U.S. News report. So they might not be, comparatively speaking, out of your thoughts but it says the best cruise line in the Caribbean is Disney. I think that is true. Then Voyages, then Celebrity. The best cruise line in the Mediterranean would be Viking, Seabourn, and Asmara because they're focused there. Then the best luxury cruise line. Now we're talking about some stuff that's really all inclusive. Is Viking, Seabourn, and Regent Seven Seas Cruising. And again, we're going to talk about in another show packing in detail. But there are some essentials that you have to look for in packing for a cruise. It's very important. Packing for any trip is important, but cruise vacations, they present a unique challenge, particularly because of your limit in space that you have in your cabin. You only got, your cabins are not as large as a hotel room. That's one drawback. Your cabins are not as large as a hotel room. They do have the adjoining cabins, if you like. Some cruise lines, they have suites of different levels. They have one suite, they have, it's a 3-bedroom suite. That's on a Disney, the Disney Wish. You can go online and view it. They have a 3-bedroom suite. It is massive. the space. But anyway, a regular cabin is small. It may be 3/4 of a hotel room. In your closet, of course, and even in a hotel room is small. But your bathroom is even smaller. But it's navigatable. Now, another thing on Disney cruises, and compare, if you get the family suite on Disney cruise, that's just a basic suite that's ocean with a balcony. You have 2 bathrooms. One bathroom has just the sink in the bathroom, in the commode, and another bathroom has a tub in it, in the commode and the sink. So it is something to really experience. But we were talking about packing. And because you don't want, Naeem and I was just talking, you don't want to have to carry a lot of stuff. You don't need it. I say pack and then reassess what you're packing. You need some basics. You try to stick with the same color so you can interact, you can interchange. Shoes, basics, your most heavy shoe you're going to carry, you're going to wear. So you have to have a closed-in shoe. Even if you're going to the beach, you got to have a closed-in shoe, a tennis shoe, a gym shoe, or something of that nature, a walkable shoe. Because in traveling, there's a lot of walking. And if you can't walk, if that's a challenge, there are assistants at the airport to and from the gate, and the cruise line at the cruise port to and from the ship. You can have some assistance if you have some challenges with mobility or sight or even hearing. They try to help you. But some of the things that you want to make sure that you travel with beyond the basic, make sure you have the medication, the Dramamine, that's for motion. You cannot take your own iron. Of course, people don't carry irons anymore anyway, I don't think. But pack clothing that doesn't wrinkle badly, or get some of that wrinkle release spray in your garment bags. Some potpourri, because you can't burn candles not in hotel rooms or in cabins. So get the potpourri. I get those trees, the trees that you put in the car. Yeah, just get a tree. And it's strong for the few days that you're going to be there. That's about all you need. Flashlight, matches, and make sure you put, those matches in a plastic bag so they don't get wet. Your first aid kit, international travel adapter or converter. And these are some of the few things. Sunscreen. You make sure that you have some of these things available. It's so very important. But again, prepare yourself, because we're going to come back in another show that we're going to focus on packing, because that is so important, and a lot of people miss the mark on that. A lot of people don't know, and trust and believe when you get to that scale at that airport and that bag is overweight because you did all this shopping while you were at that port. You bought all of these fancy clothes with the colors, and you had to buy the souvenirs and the T-shirts, and, that stuff weighs, and it takes up space. So we're going to show you how to simply get around that, besides traveling with Southwest. So right now, I missed the commercial. Okay, let me take you all to our last set of commercials. And again, we want you to pay attention to what we offer here at the Female Solution. Each and every day, we are here to bring you support, answer those questions that you just in a turmoil and don't know which way to go and how to get there. So when we come back, we're going to go to one of our callers at 708-724, and you'll be the first one I speak to after our commercials. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me and my co-host Kareem Hamid every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show, as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution.
Tune in to Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear great topics and stories on grief and turn it into victory. Join Dr. Debbie Green to listen to stories of triumph and learn how to overcome. You are not alone in your life, and there is hope in the darkest hour. This is your time to learn strategies and solutions to improve your life. It's your time. So join Dr. Debbie Green with Soulful Solutions and call in on Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 515-605-9325 with comments and questions. Look to hear from you real soon.
Joy. And I'm Reverend Rosemary. Join us every second Saturday of the month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time, here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. for Neighborship of Joy. We'll have powerful conversations inviting women to walk in the light. So call in 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak to the host. You can also join us live on the Female Solution Facebook page and YouTube channel. So see you on the second Saturday on the Neighborship of Joy.
All right, welcome back to Move Around with Deborah. And as I promised, I will go to my caller that is on hold, ready to speak, 708-724. Welcome to the call. Please introduce yourself, and let's talk about this cruising thing. Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon, Deborah. This is Brian Vickers. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'd like to learn more about cruising and even the travel industry as a whole. I wouldn't mind maybe even working in the travel industry, like doing in the capacity of what that you're working in like the capacity that you're working in the travel industry.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a wide open opportunity. And we are now, at one time they said travel agents. We are no longer travel agents. We are travel advisors, where we advise to how to, when to, where to, and what to travel on. So we are excited always to have new folks come in. I will talk to you. Email me your information to Deborah.thefemalesolution@gmail. Email me to remind me. That's Deborah.thefemalesolution@gmail.com. And we'll talk about it, because we definitely. Have you ever cruised?
No, I've never cruised, but no, ma'am, I've never cruised before. But let me get that email address one more time. You said that's
Deborah.thefemalesolution@gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. And basically, I'm emailing you for the to be able to find out more information.
Yes. Yes. And that's anybody who's online who would like to get more information. Definitely email me. Talk to me. We need more folks to help those who are looking to travel and don't want to get in a situation that we can avoid. We can avoid you being in a layover situation where your first plane was running a little late and you had to run like OJ through the airport to get to the next plane, the next terminal, or you had a layover that you had to leave the airport and go to a hotel and then come back the next day. We can help navigate you, because just a person who is not in tune to how to read or understand these things, they'll miss it. You'll miss it. You'll miss the fine print. You'll miss the fact that you're going to a resort and your main thought is to swim, and you didn't read the little fine print at the bottom that the swimming pool is under construction during the time, or the resort itself is under construction, or you're booking one room that has never been rehabilitated, and you could have booked a room at the same property that was just refurbished. These are some of the things that come up that we are unaware of. But it's all documented there in the fine print. That small print will get to you. And a lot of times, if I'm a doctor, I don't have time to research where I want to go or how to get there. I need someone who is an expert. And that's what you become when you're a travel advisor. You're becoming an expert because you're learning and you're growing. So, yes, we'll be glad to have another person educating themselves and being able to share that with others in the travel industry, an ever-growing, ever-changing travel industry. Thank you so very much. I look forward to hearing from you about that. All right?
All right, look forward to that. Yes, ma'am.
All right,
okay,
thank you for calling.
We
have another caller here. 312-721. I am opening your mic. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and your question or concern or statement about cruising.
Well, this is Naima from Chicago.
We had lost you before.
Yes, I'm off screen, but I do have a question because I really have a nervousness about water. I'm not a great swimmer. I can stay afloat, but and I know on planes when they have a flight over the water, they'll tell you about the water floats that the seats can turn into a floating device, and they'll explain all of that, and the exits and all that. So in case of a water landing, of course, I don't know of anybody where that's happened to, but I want to know what are the instructions they give you before the cruise if something should happen and the boat get damaged and sink or whatever. Like, do they have life jackets available for everybody? I remember that was a thing on the Titanic. Everybody saw the movie where it was discovered they didn't have enough lifeboats and they hadn't really planned for the amount of people that were on, and certainly they didn't plan on the ship crashing. But what are the emergency procedures that the passengers are given before they take off, and are there life jackets available for everybody? Because not everybody can swim. So tell us about that.
Well, yeah, we spoke about that a little earlier. Yes, when you board the ship, before they take off, there is a class that you have to take. It's only a few minutes, but you have to check into these classes. You have to be signed off on these classes. You can't just be on the ship and say, oh, I've taken it before, I don't need to take it again. No, you have to be documented, and they'll document you by your sign-in card or whatever, however they track you, because they do have ways of tracking you. And it is, the name of it escapes me now. Please, if somebody's on, if they could share that with me. But they teach you all of that. Just like on the airplane, we have a class for that. And,
so is the class online? Is it in person or online?
It's in person now. It used to be online. It used to be in person, and then when the pandemic came around,
now it's online.
For that, they were trying to go online, where you be in your cabin and look at it on the television. But now they've reverted back to, from my understanding and my experience, they've reverted back to, you have to go to, like, say, the auditorium that's on the ship, and they tell you about it. Sometimes, some ships, you have to go to your exit area. You know how if you're in your cabin and they tell you to go to a certain spot to exit, You'll have to go to this certain deck area where your exit area, you're with your exit group. And in that same area, well, before you leave your cabin, you've already gotten your life jacket. And you take it with you. You don't have to put it on, but you could take it with you, and or if you a long time ago you had to put it on, and it was so nasty.
Yeah, I was wondering, would you have to actually have it on, because if something happens,
let me tell you,
they're
looking, but if you need it, you're going to be sucking the dry. You know what I'm saying? You're going to look past the nastiness. If you got to put it on because you're in a situation where you're going to sink, you don't care about how nasty it is. But the people will complain. Do they clean them?
Yeah,
they weren't cleaning them beforehand. No, the ones that I saw, they weren't clean. But that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. They may have changed that since. I have not cruised in a couple of years, so they may not have changed that since. But
so should people bring their own?
Pardon?
Should people bring their own just in case? I mean, buy a life jacket.
You don't have to bring your own, but you already have. Well, maybe you don't already have. I already have my own cleaning material. So I'm already wiping down everything in the cabin, and I'm already wiping it down. So you wipe that down too. You take care of yourself.
I just assumed after COVID that everything was always disinfected.
Well, again, I haven't cruised since the COVID situation, so I'm sure they have sanitized everything. I'll let you know. I'm scheduling a cruise soon, so I'll let you know when I return.
The life jacket
yes,
clean.
Yes, but I'm sure they sanitize everything at this point. Everything has to be sanitized. They have all the hand sanitizers, and when you walk through certain areas, I've been at an airport going to the car rental place, and a mist before I go into the garage to pick up the car. There was a mist that came down. I'm like, oh, what's that? That's something to cool me off. I'm going into this heat. No, it was a sanitation mist. They were sanitizing me before I got into this vehicle that I hope was sanitized. But again, when you get into that vehicle, this is what happens. You're gonna clean it down. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I clean stuff down.
Yeah.
So,
well, now another question then.
And as far as the safety boats, they learned from the Titanic to have enough. Mm-hmm. And those safety boats that are on the side of the ship, they hold over 100 people each.
Really?
Yeah. So depending on, how many people, they may hold 200. It depends on the capacity of both the passenger and the staff. They have enough to hold everybody. Yeah.
So now one other question.
Yeah.
You know how when people act up on a plane, like especially before takeoff, they will put them off. So is there any behavior, like if you're not compliant and the ship is about to sail, that they would put you off the ship because they see you're going to be a problem, like you're refusing to follow instructions, or back talking, and just you seem to be somebody who's going to be obstinate, and they can't afford to have you on a cruise ship with erratic behavior. Is there a policy where they can put you off the ship before it starts, like if they can put you off a plane before it takes off? Do they do that? Do you know?
Can. Oh yes. You see, when the ship is in port, it's under the jurisdiction of the port authority. and that's they have their own laws. That's the United States Port Authority. Once you're on the actual ship and the ship is out to sea, you're now under the jurisdiction of wherever that ship is flagged out of. That ship may be flagged out another country. Typically, they are. They're flagged out of wherever they're created. Out of the Mediterranean, out of a different country. It may be an Italian. These ships that are along the United States, they don't belong to the United States. They don't belong to a company in the United States. They're all flagged under someone else. The only one I spoke about earlier was the riverboat cruise, the American Cruise Line. They are flagged for they are American ships, but the other ships, no, they're all foreign. So, but as they are docked in the United States, they are part of the Port Authority, and that's a government. That's a federal government organization. And yes, if you're out of order, you will not be able to board. If they feel as though you're acting erratically as you're going through the process to get on the ship, they will, or you're too intoxicated or something like that, they will stop. Oh, yeah. They will stop you. If once you get on the ship, now the ship has their police as well. Once you get on the ship and the ship is out to sea, or the ship is in another port, they can have you arrested in those other ports. They can put you on the ship. Say if the ship is out to sea and you got into it, which you hear a lot now. People are just going crazy. Just heard about the folks sleeping and writing on the artifacts and sleeping at the Eiffel Tower. People are doing some privileged stuff, they think.
It's being disorderly just for the heck of it.
When you have alcohol involved on these ships, there are some folks that drink a lot. And I suggest that if you have a challenged relationship, don't think a cruise is going to save your relationship. And you
get on the boat fight.
Don't go on the cruise, because you get on the cruise, you're already upset with each other. You're trying to mend things together, and then you get into an argument because somebody looked at somebody, or somebody looked at your man or your woman, or just out of order. You out of order. They will stop you. Can be arrested. You can be fined. You can be put in a situation where you got to find your own way home from another country, which means if you don't have your passport, you'll be even.
So they could actually dock at a place that's not maybe the final destination, just to put off a passenger if somebody's acting
not
so
just
disorderly.
to put off. If they're going to multiple locations and the next location is not back home, their originating port, and you've been in a fight or something, they can put you off.
They can put you off. Find your way home the best way you can.
That's right.
Wow.
This is correct.
So,
and one thing that I wanted to share this is something also very important. If you're not capable of traveling because you're sick, a lot of people, this is their last hurrah. So they could be really deathly ill with cancer or whatever they got. If they see you're not able to travel, they could not allow you to travel. If you are with child, if you
does it matter 6 months or?
Yeah, I think it's 6 months. If you're more than 6 months, you cannot cruise.
Oh, because they don't want you giving birth on the going into labor on.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have, you know how you fly, and you might have an infant, and you're carrying that infant, and you don't have to buy that extra ticket for that infant.
Right.
On a cruise ship, you have to buy a ticket for that infant.
Oh.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You have to purchase. Each and every soul that's on that ship has to have a purchase ticket.
It's sold.
Pardon?
They're not selling seats, they're selling souls. So every soul on the...
They're selling space. They're selling occupancy.
Occupancy. So,
yeah. When I say soul,
but
that's
it doesn't matter.
the term they use in cruising. You know, everybody's a soul. Even in travel, on a plane, they talk about soul. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But yeah, each person has to have be paid for, even infants. Yeah. So these are some of the things that, being a travel advisor, you can share that with your folks beforehand when you're planning. Now, I know that if you're planning a cruise next year, you don't know if you're going to be with child. But that's something, if you are in that situation, that's something that you need as a travel advisor. I need to share that with folks, so they'll know.
So if people are planning a cruise and they could possibly get pregnant within the time between now and the time of their cruise, and they could possibly, say if they're planning a cruise a year from now, you know, and they could possibly be pregnant within that year, then they need to, I don't know, need to make sure they're not.
Right. They need to cancel, delay their cruise. Yeah. And they should be able to get their change back. Well, that was the key to say it's time.
And
it's time oh my goodness. See, that's why I say we're going to have to continue the conversation on cruising, because it is so much to it, and I just enjoy it. And I know that we cannot encompass everything cruising, but we're going to continue to talk about it. We're going to talk about packing. We're going to talk about more in travel, safety factors, and when to, where to, how to, and who to. Thank you for being here. I really enjoyed the time, enjoyed the opportunity. Make sure that everyone has the ability to tune in. These programs are rebroadcasted on Blog Talk.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show.
Good day.
You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zanyaba, Japan, Arigato, Korea, Kamsamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poland, John Kujon, France. Merci. Spain. Gracias. Italy. Grazie. Egypt. Shukran. Ghana. Medasi. Nigeria. Eshe. South Africa. Ngiyabonga. Senegal. Geret. Kenya. Asante. Israel. Toda. Pakistan. Shukriya. Afghanistan. Tashakkur. Saudi Arabia. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
Yes.